Okay, hello gentlemen. My name is John Christensen with Schwing Bioset. Welcome to this afternoon training session. We'll start out with a little movie here for you, if I can find it quick. Where did I put it? Just from what I heard, just give you a brief rundown of the hydraulics. This isn't your pump, but it's similar, and you watch how the S1 and S2 and S3 correspond with what's going on with the pump. You'll be able to see the shifting of the pump, the shifting of the spools, how the pressure and loop oil and no charge oil reacts throughout the system. So as you're seeing the spool shift back and forth, you correlate with your poppets and how the pump is shifting back and forth. The S2 spool actually shifts your main diff cylinders, and your S3 spool is shifting your poppet cylinders. Well, they work, side by side in unison with each other. And then you can see how the internals of the brain are working, shooting the pressure out to the pump.
Have the seals on the rams been modified to hold out longer, or just to be a better seal?
Define seals on the rams.
The rams.
For the oil or the sludge?
The sludge.
The sludge, they're the exact same rams. The biggest thing is to, number one, keep the water box clean, and two, keep the hopper full. If that hopper runs dry, you're going to burn those rams up, and they'll be shot in a very, very, very short period of time. The wear part is dependent upon, if you take care of those two things, the wear part's dependent upon the amount of grit that's in your sludge. It varies from location to location, obviously. But the two biggest important things is to make sure you keep a clean water box and keep product in the hopper. Lack of either one is going to burn the rams up.
So if the augers don't start up until the rams are started at the same time, you have to actually put press cage into the hopper before you start anything up. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Well, you go down, right now you got to go downstairs and press the start button to get the hydraulic power pack up and running, right? And I understand at some point there's going to be an HMI upstairs for you to do all the same functions up there. But until then, I would definitely wait until you start seeing product coming off that belt, dropping into the hopper. Now, don't wait too long, because then by the time you get downstairs, now you're going to have quite a bit of cake in there, and you're going to get a big pile right away. So it's it'll all be in timing.
The load bypass valve, is that manual, or is that going to be on skate?
That's on skate. That's a push button on this.
Manual one there?
No.
Do we have an interlock right now so that once the press shuts down, the auger and maybe shuts down?
I believe David is working on that. I don't have an answer for you right now.
Okay.
When we get down there, maybe we can ask. Do you know if he incorporated that? Okay. I know they're.
Talked about it
Yeah.
last week. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's a logistics thing, and somebody's got to okay it, and you got to go through the political side of things.
Well, right now we can run one or the other.
To my knowledge.
An interlock, and which is good because if you need product in the swing pump, so we don't burn it up.
Mhm.
I'm not a fan of interlocks, only because it ties our hands up,
Mhm.
maybe potentially creates problems.
As long as you've got a bypass to do that, to get around it, interlocks are great. Just save your butt. throttle valves. Drop it anymore. All right. Okay, these are the throttle valves on the brain. Controls how much pressure is being applied to the poppets to make them shift. Right now I have them set at 3/4 of a turn open. It's shifting solid. You need solid. You don't want it shifting too softly, because what will happen is if the cake gets a little bit dry, it won't be able to shift. You don't want it to shift too hard. You'll wear your poppet seats and discs out quicker. You got to find that happy medium based on the kind of sludge that you're running. There again, it's all going to be a matter of feel. I tell all the operators and the maintenance guys, I go by the touch me, feel me way of the approach on troubleshooting and doing this stuff. When the thing is new, now is the time to go out and to feel it, put your hands on it, see what's normal, see how it's running, see where's the warm spots, the cold spots, whatever. And that way when the time comes, if something starts going awry, what's that new noise or yada yada, you'll figure it out a lot quicker. And you'll be able to tell maintenance guys, hey, this sounds like something's happening here. This isn't normal. Always a good idea to keep that in the back of your mind. And plus, when you're walking around touching it and feeling it, you're also looking at it to see, okay, do I have a leak here? Are hoses scraping? You don't want hoses touching. If you see something loose, pick up a wrench, tighten it up, or call maintenance and have them come up and tighten it up. It's a lot easier than letting it go. Yes, sir.
The cooling water box, the flusher, is that an automatic? Or
No,
is it
that's manual, and definitely want to do that at the beginning of a shift. Obviously in the O&M, the O&M calls for once every shift, which is based on an 8-hour ordeal. The pumps for...
It's all hard pipe now.
Yes, sir. And
Flush it
yep.
hard pipe.
And it was pointed out earlier today that when you go to pull the pump away from everything to do maintenance, they forgot to put a union there. So no big deal. That'll get cut in. But yeah, at the beginning of the shift, make sure you got fresh water, clean water before you go into load. At the end of a shift, make sure you drain that bugger. This is one that a lot of places forget. They don't think it's important, but it's extremely important. Because number one, it tells you what's going on with the pump. If you have oil floating up there, about an 1/8 inch oil, you got your chevrons are shot, and time to replace those. If you got 2 inches or more of sludge in the bottom of the box, which you can't tell if you don't drain it, then that tells you your rams are about to go. So if you can do maintenance before the rams go to catastrophic failure, it's a lot cleaner, easier, and better for everybody. And then also you're not shut down in the middle of a shift.
How would you flush it while it's still running? We don't stop it to change the shifts, we just keep going.
Yeah, you're running 24/7. That's something that you guys got to plan out. You can lower the water down and refill it quick in mid-run, but obviously you're starving that upper cylinder of water for longer than you are the lower cylinder.
What you would recommend is shutting it down, stop the organ, the rams, let it drain, and then fill it back up.
Yeah, and it does.
A lot faster.
Yeah.
Fills and drains pretty quick.
Yeah. And if it doesn't drain quickly, that tells you that the bloody thing has got a lot of sludge down there, and it's probably time to replace the rams anyway. Yeah.
That's a long time ago. That's how we were supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And then we ended up with just easier to put the hose in it and just
Yeah.
let it run.
Yeah. And well, it is what it is.
But I don't know. I want to know how you recommend it.
Excuse me.
If you put the auger in neutral, would you think you'd have enough time to flush it? No, that wouldn't work.
Well, you could back off on your feed rate a little bit. Plan it. Just back down on your feed rate for a little bit. And then go into neutral, do a quick check, get her back up going right away again, you know. I mean, again, it's going to be site specific, whatever your requirements are. I've got to recommend for the purposes of the pump and its longevity is to drain it and fill it as required. Realistically, I know the real world is what it is. But you definitely want to do that. And the reason you don't want to leave the water sitting in the pump when the pump isn't running right after shutdown, you got hot oil, you've got a much cooler water, you got different cooling rates. That hydraulic oil, as it cools, it's going to create a vacuum and it's going to suck that dang water into your hydraulic oil. Number one, no, we don't want that to happen. And the weaker the chevron packing is, the more apt it's going to do that. So, reasons for clean and reasons for draining and flushing. Let's see here. What did I do with it?
Get new tools with this.
Excuse me, sir?
We get new tools with this.
I honestly don't know if they sent tools or not.
Really? They're gonna use the same old beat up one?
Believe me, you will be grateful you've got the same old beat up ones, because the new ones, well, I can't say it, I'm on tape. Suffice it to say, I don't much care for them. The last ones I looked at said made in India, I believe. So, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Oh, what did I do with that? Oh, I'm sorry, fellas. I had it pulled up and now I've lost it. The heck did I do with that bugger? There. These are the new pressure switches compared to your old style that you had before. And it's got a trip setting and a reset setting on there. They're pretty much tied together. They're about on the pipeline pressure, high hydraulic oil pressure. It's 100 psi, give or take, between the two. So say it trips at 2,000 psi, the switch itself won't reset until it's at 1,900 psi. So,
Is it automatically reset?
yeah. Get more specific. There's a time delay in there, so it can see 2,000 for a period of time, but then it's got to drop below that lower value for at least 3 seconds to ignore that first spike. So it gives you a little bit of a window. But once it trips, obviously, then it's tripped and you're done. You're going to have to find out what caused it. This one here is the filter, the dirty oil filter pressure sensor. It's only 20 psi. And that, of course, sits right up there on your canister filter. This is the high oil pressure, and this one's located down. If you stood in front of your power pack and looked at where the hoses are, just to the right of the hoses is your gauge stack. Right behind the pump gauges where the pressure gauge is located. This is the new maintenance control box. Let me get a better picture. There we go. This is kind of like a dead man dummy switch over here on the left. This is your maintenance mode switch. You got maintenance and normal operation. When you're switched into maintenance, nobody anywhere else can do anything except start the hydraulic power pack. They can't load it, they can't do anything else. So once you flip that switch, that's it. They're done, they're locked out, nobody else can get in there and injure you. And this is your forward reverse switch right here. So when you push that button, you have to turn that switch either forward or reverse, whichever direction you want to go, within a half a second of each other. So it's push and turn at the same time, otherwise it won't move. So, and I've had customers, they forget this and they call up, "Oh, it's broke, it don't work, yada yada." They're just not doing it quickly enough. And, oh, okay. So just be aware of that. It's easily forgotten. Sure.
If you make a mistake and go from auto to maintenance, is it as quick as like, oh shit, and put it back into auto?
No, you're done.
You're
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Some of the faults on this, is it gonna be going through SCADA, or are they gonna go through the hard panel on the press?
We'll cover the faults, but yeah, it goes through the SCADA as far as I know. I mean, everything's going to be on there.
So
This,
you're gonna shut down on your Schwing maybe, like a high temp or low oil or something, you're still gonna get a message somewhere, or you?
yeah. Well, it's definitely going to come up on my HMI, and it'll come up on your SCADA screen. It's listed there. Everything that's on the pump screen is on your SCADA screen. There's a direct rollover. Now, what they're going to tie that into, are they going to tie that to me right now? The only thing that's coming to me is the permissive. What I got to have to run is the valve train has to be lined up to the incinerator, and the incinerator's got to tell me it's okay to pump to it.
Do they have to be reset by through SCADA or on your screen before it'll start up? Or
On my screen. From either direction. If you reset on SCADA, it'll reset mine. I believe. I haven't tested that.
Not too sure on that.
Not sure?
When we had the high pressures last week, I had to go reset.
You had to go on the front door.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You got to go to the front door of the power pack.
high pressure valve?
Huh?
Did you fix the high pressure valve?
Yeah, they opened the valve.
Yeah, we had a CPV 12 at a brain fire, shut the valves.
There's a lot
High
of
pressure switch set at now?
1930, 1950. So yeah, you got to go on the face of the hydraulic power pack to reset an active alarm. Okay. So, while you're in maintenance mode, you know, you can run both of those, but again, that darn screw feeder's locked out, so just keep that in mind. If you want to empty that screw feeder or take pressure off of your transition, which I like to do, always run your screw feeder in reverse in load prior to